Database functions are reusable pieces of code stored in a database that perform specific operations, usually on data. They can take inputs, then they process those inputs and return a specific result that we direct to a application like a mobile app. So functions in a database are similar to functions in our programming languages, but they are written in SQL language. So one of the benefits of database functions are quite similar to the functions in programming languages, which are you get to write code once and use it many times. Also, the aspect of breaking complex operations into smaller manageable parts, that's another benefit. And lastly, it's the aspect of performing calculations directly in the database, reducing that need to transfer data back and forth between the database and the application. So the whole operation is done in the database, and now the end result is what's returned in the application. So there are three basic concepts found in database functions, which are again the same ones in programming languages. So the first one is input parameters. Functions can take inputs called parameters, which are used inside the function's operations. So for example, you may have a function that may take an input like user ID as an input to retrieve that user's information. The second one will be a return type. So functions return a value or a set of values. So the return type can be anything from a single number or a string to an entire table of data, depending on what your function should do. And lastly, we have the function body. So the body contains this SQL statements that perform the desired operation. This could be anything from a simple calculation to a complex query involving multiple tables, which we'll get to see. In our project, we'll create a basic function that searches for parking areas that a specific user has marked as their favorite based on the search text. So you'll use this in a different search feature on the app where the user gets to view all his or her favorite parking areas. So it will look something like this. I'll proceed to create a new query and I'll just paste the database function here and then we'll go through it one by one. Great. So now in the first line of the statement, it creates a new function or it replaces an existing one based on the same name. So this is the name of the function. Next, we are setting the input parameters, which are two. We have the user ID, which will represent the ID of the user of data type integer. And we have another one, search text, which will be used to represent the name or the filter, the name of the parking area that the user has set, and it will be of data type text. Our next line will be return set of parking area. What this means is that it specifies that the function should return a set of rows from the parking area table. That's what it means. Now let's proceed to the function body. To know if which part is the function body, it's enclosed in dollar quotes. So these are the dollar quotes. So all this is a function body. And then we have the begin command and the end command. This denotes the beginning and the end of the procedural code. Now inside it is what now we have is called the query logic. So the next statement that says return query, this command just returns a result of the query that will follow. And the query will be a select statement, which is this. So what we are doing, we are selecting all columns. This means all columns from the parking area table. PA is just an alias of the parking area, which we have set here. And then we'll proceed to perform an inner join between the parking area table, which is PA, and the favorite table, which we have given the alias of F. Okay, so the join condition is that the ID in the parking area, this part, matches the parking area ID column in the favorite table. Then we proceed to create a where clause. So what our where clause will do, it filters the result to include only those parking areas that are favorites of the user specified by the user ID, which is one of our input parameters. And then we proceed to continue the clause, and we're also going to filter the result by checking if the name of the parking area that have been returned contains the search text that the user has passed, which is our input parameter. And the good thing is that the I like command is case sensitive. So that's what this query does. So it's selecting all columns from the parking area, making sure that these specific parking areas are part of part of the favorites table, and then it should be for a specific user ID which has been passed as an input parameter and should contain a search text that has been passed by the user as an input parameter. Simple as that. And then the last part that we haven't talked about is this last line of the statement, which only specifies that it specifies that the function is written in procedural language for PostgreSQL. That's all. So now we can try and run this function. So I'll just come here and click on run. And we have a error that says parking area does not exist. This is because we are not specifying the schema. So let's proceed to do that. So our schema is parking. Let's try that again. Let me see. Oh, let's just try and specify the schema again. And if we try and run that, it's successful. So no rows returned. So our database function is a success. So we have a function called search favorite. Now, in the SQL editor, you can proceed to use this function. For example, you can create a new query and say something like select all from search. Let me proceed to copy this function name and just say from the function name, and then you specify your input parameters. So maybe you might have a user of ID, maybe 1, and then we proceed to have a parking name or a search text like parking. So it's going to go and check on the parking area if there's a name that contains the text parking, and also using the user ID 1. Okay, we can't execute this right now because our tables are quite empty, as you can see. So another way to do, I think this is the best time to actually sort this out. So let me go back to the public schema. In our public schema, the favorite profile and vehicle will be generated, data will be generated from the app level. But in our parking, there's data that we need to enter that will be used to interact in the app level. For example, parking area, parking floor, parking lot, and parking slot. Those are things that we can set the data inside the database. In a different scenario, we'll have maybe like an admin dashboard where data will be entered of all the parking areas, their floors, their lots, and their slots. So what I've done is that in the GitHub repository, the startup project branch, I have also added CSV files for parking area. So you'll have a parking area.csv. In the CSV folder, there's a parking floor.csv, parking lot.csv, and parking slot.csv. So let me show you how to import those CSV files so that you can have sample data that we can use to proceed to the next step. So what I'll do is in the parking area, all I have to do is click on insert, and then I'll say import data from CSV. Then I can just drag and I can just drop my files here. So I'll just go and look for my CSV file, which is here. And then what I want to import is the CSV file for parking area. So I just come and drag it there. Here's all the information. And then I just import the data. Let's see what could be the problem. Let me discard and do that again. Let's try that again. So I'll click on insert, import data from CSV, paste my CSV data income. A total of 5 rows will be added to the table. Here's a preview. What could be the problem? Location description is not present in your table. Location description. Okay, let me see. Wow, I must have written it in the wrong location. I wrote local description location description. Click on save. Make sure the rating also is numeric data type. Now let's try again. Insert import data from CSV. Let me just drag, and now it's compatible. Now let's click on import data, and we have added 5 rows that consist of different parking areas. Now let's proceed to parking flow. I'll click on insert import data from CSV, head over to get my parking flow rows compatible, great, and click on import data. So it will have different types of floors that we can have: underground, basement. Then let's do the same for parking lot. Great, compatible, import data. And lastly, we have the parking slot. Compatible, import data. Great. So in our parking area, we have a list of parking areas. You can see there's some information here. And then we have parking floor, the different types of floors we can have. Then we have a parking lot. So it will be showing the specific parking area and the parking floors that it has. So if you look at this parking area ID, there's a parking area ID of ID 4. Let's check on it, which is downtown parking plaza. It has let's see, it has 2 floors. Okay, there's one floor of ID 3. Let's just check what that is, which is ground, and then 4, which is first floor. So it has a ground floor and a first floor. So that's how we're doing this. And then we have now, like for example, parking slot. Now the parking slot will hold a name. You can see the different types of names of slots that you can have, showing the availability in terms of true or false. And then we can have now the parking lot. So that parking lot, for example, parking lot ID 2, if we head over here and go to 2, we're referring to the downtown parking plaza. It has downtown parking plaza, the ground floor. Okay, so in this G1 represents downtown parking plaza. That's the parking area name, ground floor, and that's what we're using. We're getting to know that information through the parking lot ID. And currently the availability is false, and the name of the slot is called G1. I hope that makes sense. So this is like sample data that we're going to interact with in our project. Great. So now we have a parking area, but we do not have in our public, in our profile, we don't have a user. Maybe if we try and add one user just to be able to check if our data function is working. But now we'll need to also add data in our favorite, and I don't want this these tables to be inserted dummy data. We'll be able to enter data from the app level. So what we're going to do is, let me see, we're going to test this function. It's in our SQL editor. We'll proceed to test this function when we reach at this point where we already have at least a user and we have some favorites. That will help us because already in our parking areas we have some parking areas to play around with. So instead of just adding dummy data here, I really want it to be actual data from the application level. So we'll come back to test on this by just running this command, and then we'll get to see our result here. And in the app level, we will call this specific Postgres function as a remote procedure call. We'll get to see that step by step. So I will leave a link in the description if you do not have any idea on what remote procedure calls are. I'll leave the link down in the description.